Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing NAD's T758, their entry-level home theatre amplifier with so many features and such a good performance. You would expect it to be a lot more expensive. Firstly, NAD has been producing some of the most musical home theatre amplifiers available forever. They introduced years ago, a decade ago at least, a modular design enabling HDMI and audio cards to be replaced when if an upgrade is required. It's kept some of their legacy items refreshed, and it means that some of the more expensive products can easily be kept up with the times. And it's lovely to see that modular design in the entry-level home theatre amplifier. NAD, of course, with their partners, have also introduced NAD BluSound or BluOS. And with this product, they incorporate a BluOS module free. All part of such an amazing and elaborate home theatre amplifier for a budget price. So, let's have a look. Firstly, the packaging. We've got model and serial number information on both ends. We've got a feature set sticker underneath the amplifier. This is the version 3, hence why they've probably invested in a basic big carton and then one of these colour stickers for the times that they want to improve things. Emulation of model and serial number on the other end. And then on the top we get a real understanding of the efforts NAD has done to ensure this product arrives with you in one piece and ready to perform all of the latest duties that you might expect. The first and most obvious is do an internet software update. This is vital. These ship and are warehoused for any number of periods of time, months and months perhaps. So it means that software updates are vitally important as far as introducing some of the most recent and latest implementations of software, streaming, Spotify, Tidal, all of those things, as well as compliance with some of the more modern HDMI return channels of audio and any number of different things as far as those latest TVs that may be on the market. The second sticker relates to that BluOS that I mentioned, and it's wonderful to see that it's here in this box. Okay, opening it really straightforward. Simple enough slice of the packing tape. And then, of course, straight across the top, all the way through all those stickers. Okay, so looking at the amplifier in its box. Firstly, you'll see elaborate packaging to ensure that this product does get to you in one piece. All the accessories are taped in place, so a simple nick, and it means we can start having a look at the accessory pack. It's sealed closed with both staples and sellotape. So a simple enough nick gets us in the box. Firstly, the accessories. Now, we've got high-res audio and BluOS. Congratulations. A basic setup, including how to add the BluOS modules that they've included. The more comprehensive manual is available through further on. We've got a microphone for the purposes of its setup. Now that microphone is attached to a USB dongle. That USB has a 3.5mm input, and it's associated with the Dirac setup. There's a rear USB on the theatre amplifier that will attach to. We've got NAD's remote control. Again, sellotaped closed. Very straightforward as far as nicking the sellotape, and we get to have a look at it. Basic remote control. I always take much pride and joy in sort of taking that first sort of sticky layer off. It ensures, of course, that the remote control arrives to you scratch-free. It's got a lovely sort of semi-gloss finish. Because the amplifier is a 7-channel amplifier, it has the ability to run a second zone. So NAD have provided you with a second zone remote control. This is already coded with the IR codes for zone 2 only, and it means that should you just want to hand it off to somebody and go, right, this is how you use the second pair of speakers in the house, it's excellent to see it separate, because mentally, of course, that second zone can be used differently, and having a second small remote is ideal as far as making it user-friendly. We've got a series of AA batteries. That's the bag. Now, this is the kit, and before we get into it, a little bit of information about Dirac Live. Now, that is the room equalization that's associated with home theatre performance, essentially. Bit of information about it. Very straightforward. Now, BluOS. NAD and Blue Sound have been developing some of the easiest to use streaming services. It incorporates any number of perfect implementation of app control and introduction of Tidal, MQA, and all sorts of other streaming. This module is included with the amplifier, and it plugs into the rear USB. You'll see that, and please hang around for some photographs. It's a USB extension product, essentially. There's a couple of pre-fitted USBs and a cable to ensure that it's very, very straightforward as far as adding this into the theatre amplifier. Before we drill into the product, I'm just going to a couple of quick nicks, and we've got the power cord. Now, this particular one is Singaporean or something along those lines. It's useless to me, but I was provided with a care package with all manner of different power cords that the unit requires. It's a 2-pin, as in no earth, and an IEC from New Zealand will be supplied with anything you might purchase from us. Now, like most of the time, as far as what I recommend at this point is anything that's kind of heavy, and this certainly is, my recommendation is that you simply roll it over and take the box off the product rather than trying to get the much, much heavier product out of the box. It reveals immediately the care and attention that they've added as far as the level of polystyrene and packaging. This product is going to be manhandled by any number of different people in the warehouse, in the production, in the freight, the containerization, all of those types of things, and of course the final courier. So it's wonderful to see an elaborate amount of packaging added to ensure that this product will arrive to you in one piece. Removing the ends is very, very straightforward. A simple rocking approach. And then the product is inside one of those synthetic protective bags. Taking it out from the bag is very, very straightforward. Realistically, it's just kind of a feat that you have to worry about, and a simple rocking process is the easiest as far as getting that protective bag off. The very first thing you'll see on the top of the amplifier is an internet upgrade guide. Again, they put a huge amount of attention and detail into the software that is running on board, and as this may spend many months in transit, it's important the very first thing you do is update its onboard software. This is a very, very simple guide on how to do it, and it's extremely easy and immediately. A little bit of protective paper, it's done its job. Now, looking at the amplifier. Firstly, it's relatively compact for the wattage that it actually delivers. NAD is very clear about the real world wattage and how, if it claims 50 watts, it's 50 by 5 if it's a 5-channel, it's 50 by 7 if it's a 7-channel. They're not going to rate their amplifier driving just one channel or into some very small frequency. It's a full frequency, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, all channels driven. Again, if it's a 5-channel, it's all of those channels driven, delivering the wattage. It's being a 7-channel amplifier, It's conservatively rated at that 50 to 60 watt mark, but its drive and power is so much more, and comparatively to others in the industry, this is giving a clearer, cleaner sound, as you would expect from something like NAD. Right, looking at the amplifier. Firstly, the front display is covered with a protective panel, a little wee plastic to protect it from being scratched. We've got a very muted and very, very simple design. This elegant approach has been NAD's signature, I guess. We've got NAD's logo, information and model number. We've got a simple tap standby, and beneath it a 6 1/4 inch headphone jack. This toggle is used for navigation through the setup and on-screen display, as well as an emulation of that on-screen display in the front panel. We've got a menu which enables it to pop up and navigate through, and a listening mode button which cycles through the most popular of the NAD DSP modes. Massive display, multi-layered, and then a simple enough source selection button. Now this is left to right. With all NADs you have the ability to deselect unused inputs, effectively turning them off. So if you've only got 3 or 4 things connected, then you can deselect the ones that you're not using and simply select through using the left and right source those few that you are using. Not only does it reduce the overall noise floor associated with having those inputs live and active, but it also makes the operation much, much simpler for both yourself and the family members that might use it. Now, beside the source, we've got the main volume control. This is a rotary encoder, and beneath it, a little hatch. Now, it's a simple enough approach to remove that. It's a plastic cover, and it reveals an analog input, left and right, an optical digital input, and a microphone input for the purposes of setup, as well as, once the setup is complete, the ability to use it for a 3.5mm input for something like an MP3 player, cell phone, or something similar. Rocking it forward, we'll see the ventilation, and it's elaborate. This is a 7-channel amplifier. It's going to get kind of warm if you want to push the limits. So it's wonderful to see elaborate ventilation to ensure that it can keep itself cooled. We also get an impression of its depth, and like anything along these lines, it's not going to be tiny. Looking at the side, it's very muted as you would expect, but the back is where the magic starts to happen. As I mentioned and alluded to, the modular design. This is featuring NAD's latest HDMI and analog to digital boards. There's a separate, this whole module can be removed and the two boards actually separated, the HDMI being separate from the other board over to one side. Uniquely, as this amplifier has the processing capabilities for Atmos and other things, which would require more than 7 channels of amplification, the unit has analog pre-outs, enabling you to strap small power amplifiers or multi-channel power amplifiers on to add front and rear effects, or Atmos channels if required. It features 2 optical and 2 coaxial inputs. It features 3 HDMI and 1 HDMI out. If I understand correctly, it'll cover off the eARC audio return as well. The USB, that's where it's unusual to see such an elaborate USB on such a budget amplifier. And it of course enables Blue Sound and the BluOS to be incorporated via the dongle that I showed you earlier. Looking across here, we've got the pre-outs. This is for all of the main speakers as well as Zone 2. This ability to direct audio out to potentially a much larger power amplifier is a wonderful little feature. You've got a 8-channel input for the purposes of any external processing if required, and analog 1, 2, 3 inputs, as well as a Zone 2. Over here we've got the IR in and out. It's duplicated along with a 12-volt trigger. Beside that is RS-232, although control is likely to be over a network for something along these lines. We've got the main power socket and a switched AC output. We've got 2, 4, 6, 7 channels of amplification on board, all clearly labelled front, centre, surround and the rears or zone 2. Remember, if you're wiring this up, this is the kind of logical order that you would use, with this being 6th and 7th channel for the rear surrounds if being used. It's worth noting that all of the outputs are covered with a black plastic cap. Traditionally, these can be removed using a fingernail, or you may need a small tool to do it. Pulling them out is relatively straightforward, and at that point, it's capable of adding connection via a banana plug. The binding posts are rudimentary and basic, but give you all of the features you would need as far as connecting a bare wire or a banana plug. Underneath the amplifier is very, very rudimentary. There's a couple of fans, as you would expect with anything of this power, and 4 well-designed isolation feet. Spinning it round, we see, and leaning it forward, and please hang around for some photographs, you'll see some of the feature set. MDC modular design, the HDMI, DTS and Atmos, as well as the Direct Live. So, there we have it. NAD T758 home theatre amplifier, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.